I'm letting my woo-woo flag fly kind of high today. And I think that's what I've been needing to do. I've been feeling a little stagnant and kind of really resisting this need to speak a little bit more on the consciousness side of things. I stay safely in the psychology and science side out of fear, but I have to get brave, and nothing ever changes if nothing ever changes. So I'm going to wave this woo flag proudly today, harness some of that pride energy of this month, not to take anything away. You guys deserve this month, and it's amazing, but I'm just feeding off your energy in the pride department. I received the most amazing download the other day, and I get a lot of downloads of information I have for years, and a lot of that was kept very private and quiet, and I have tons of information that I've written down that I know I'm supposed to be sharing. So I keep getting more and more. I'm just going to make a more conscious effort of saying it more. So if you're coming across me the first time, hi, my name is Jen. I am not your neurotypical therapist, and I bridge consciousness with science and psychology. And it's my job to learn to talk about it bravely, because if we don't talk about it, nothing changes. If you want to know how this all happened in my life, because a lot of my friends are probably like, what? I'm working on a video for that to share just how this journey happened. But for now, I just want to share this information with you. And I received it as a download, and I'm going to tell you how it kind of works for me, because with everybody, it works a little bit different. Some people direct channel, and they can harness in that channel. I do believe, well, I know I am an intuitive channel. Not I do believe, I have to start saying the words. I am an intuitive channel. I'm just starting to realize how much of an intuitive channel I am, and that's come with the ascension process and very different from my 3D life. This is my 5D life, but my role on this planet is to bridge the two. So follow along if you think this journey is kind of intriguing, because I'd love to take you along with me. So what I do when I receive the downloads, I kind of sit with them for a little bit, like a lot of us do. Sometimes I'll direct channel in a lot of my sessions. I do find that I go into direct channel, but I can't harness the channel and just start channeling like some people. But I also channel through automatic writing, and that came with some practice of learning how to do that. But a lot of my really downloaded information comes when I write, and I can tell because my writing's very different than it would be normally. When I channel through writing, it comes so fast and I can barely keep up. Now, a lot of you know me for making very cute and creative posts and using music as music therapy, which is kind of my thing too. I love that, but I'm going to do something a little bit different with this one. I'm going to actually read my automatic writing channel to you instead of trying to make it all cute and funny, because it's serious. It's a serious message, but it's an important one. And yes, it will kind of be a little bit of a long one. So 2 times the speed if you can, if you're still working on those programs of impatience that I know a lot of us in neurodiversity have. You were not born to be impatient. Impatience was created. I was that way once too, and I can confidently say I've slayed that beast. Never perfect though, because I am a human and I'm living a human experience. So I just want you guys to know that life isn't perfect, things happen, but there's something really significant to releasing control of outcomes. And we'll talk about that at other times. That's not for this one. But I think what's most important is to have a lot of grace. I have a lot of grace for myself when I do feel some impatience creep in, and I do some of the neurolinguistic work and reprogramming that I've always done, and it's really a non-issue these days. And this is the part I'm just going to read, because then it'll just go so much faster too. Okay, so when I was channeling this information, how I further processed what initially came through, I was talking with a client, as has happened on many occasions, and I'm given the information usually as I'm speaking to people, and I'll hear myself saying things like, I have no prior knowledge and awareness of, and that's how I know that I was going into a channel. I am surprised and amused with what comes out of my mouth sometimes, and it's always healing and safe, and I've learned to trust this part of me, and messages are getting to whoever it's meant to hear it that day. So this day I was talking to a client and processing what we usually do in a shadow work format that I use in my therapy practice. And we were talking about where wounds and patterns and programs that get created in neurodiversity start. because I have a very dedicated strength-based neurodiversity practice. And I heard myself say, if a child gets to grow up in their full authenticity and have the right support systems in place to protect this, they're never going to have created that judgment in themselves in the end because someone judged and criticized them first. Neurodiverse minds get to grow up peacefully and completely, and there is no disability because it was never created. And that's why it's so important for us to be raised and allow our children to be very authentic. I thought the information was so profound, even as I heard myself say it. So I thought about it a little more that day, and I realized there are many people also walking around clearly neurodiverse, and I see it because I've been assessing it and lived this brain for years, but they have no awareness of it, and that was the way it was actually always intended to be. Oh, I've got to tear up a little bit here. Nothing to see here. And it makes me come to the conclusion that I and everyone else who sees it should not be saying anything either, because they got to be free from this brain trap, and what a gift for them. Oop, need a minute. And yes, I boldly and bravely allow my emotions to come out, because that is part of how you communicate with spirit, is through emotions. Now, can I find the place I was? Okay, we need to mind our own business and let them live freely and authentically without a label, as it was always intended. And if we keep trying to label people or say, hey, do you think you might be neurodiverse, or do you think you might have autism or ADHD? What that does now to that person, that you're going to lose a piece of that authenticity, and then they start to wonder and judge themselves because someone suggested it. This is where we need to change how we respond. Nothing to see here. Proceed with you, joyful, authentic, in your joyful, authentic life. It's beautiful, really. Why would I even want to place even a hair of judgment on their head when they are walking around free as a bird? This is what we need to change. So I know there is well-meaning in it, but it is psychologically safer to let people live their lives and be authentically labelless. And the more we take away labels, the healthier this world gets. There's so many labels, so many ridiculous labels. As I heard myself say that I knew I wasn't, I'm getting weird, okay. And as I heard myself say that I knew it wasn't from me, but it just reinforced everything I always believed in this theory and hypothesis that I have created from my lived experience and my client research base, that there was never anything to see here. This sweet nugget of wisdom also came in the same time as I was energetically detaching from doing neurodiversity assessments, because I understood that every assessment and diagnosis I gave was casting a potential spell if not done carefully and if not done in the right hands, and can be disastrous, as I've seen time and time again in our medical world. My assessments were always very strength-based, and that is how I chose to do things differently in a very neurodiverse kind of fuck the system way. But so people came out of my assessments also feeling seen and more alive than ever. And it never really occurred to me until I received a letter that explained it all to me and how it changed their trajectory from a former client who had had an assessment, her and her daughter. I'd received a few other emails a few years ago, but it didn't settle in like this one had. This letter shared how being seen and learning what their brain was actually built for gave them a renewed confidence in their abilities, and I thought that was just amazing, was obviously not as devastating as I had thought diagnosis was going to be. But maybe it isn't about a diagnosis or a label, but just about truly being seen as an authentic soul that has different skill sets. I still consciously and confidently knew I still didn't want to do assessments anymore, and I was often doing reassessments for the unsafe side of healthcare, and that was also energetically doing me in. It was a reality and a very heavy one for me, so I knew I could build people back up this way. I'm running out of time, so I think I need a part 2.